Stop. Before you do anything else today, before you check your messages, before you scroll, before you tell yourself today is the day you finally start, I need you to hear something. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a waiting problem. And the longer you wait for the feeling, the further you drift from the person you keep telling yourself you're going to become. I know that's hard to hear, but if you've watched 3 motivational videos this week and still haven't done the thing you said you'd do, then the motivation isn't working. And I think deep down you already know that. So stay with me for the next 10 minutes, because what I'm about to share won't hype you up. It won't give you a temporary rush. But if you actually absorb it, it will change the way you operate for the rest of your life. You know the cycle. You wake up, the alarm goes off, and instead of getting up, you reach for your phone. Not because you need to, but because you're searching. Searching for something to ignite you. A quote, a video, a story about someone who started with nothing and built everything. And for a moment, you feel it, that little spark, that rush in your chest that says, yes, what's today? Let's go. You tell yourself today is different, but by noon, it's gone. It evaporated somewhere between breakfast and your second distraction. And now you're back to where you started, waiting. Again, you've been here before. You know this loop better than you'd like to admit. The late night plan that felt so clear, the journal entry about who you were going to become, the version of yourself you saw so vividly at 11 p.m. that somehow doesn't show up at 6 a.m. And you've asked yourself why. Am I lazy? Am I broken? Do I just not want it bad enough? No, none of those. The real answer is this. You've been taught your entire life that action requires feeling, that you need to want it before you can do it, that inspiration comes first, that effort follows. And when the inspiration doesn't arrive on schedule, you assume something is wrong with you. But nothing is wrong with you. You've just been running on the wrong fuel. I want to tell you about a man named Daniel. Daniel was 31 years old, working a job he tolerated, living in an apartment that felt too small. Not in square footage, but in possibility. He had a dream he'd been carrying for 4 years. He wanted to build something of his own, a business. Didn't matter what kind. He just wanted to wake up and work for himself. He had notebooks full of ideas, browser tabs full of research. He'd watched hundreds of hours of content about entrepreneurship, mindset, morning routines, productivity systems. He knew the theory better than most people who were actually doing it. But Daniel had one rule, an unspoken rule he didn't even realize he was following. He would start when he felt ready, when the timing was right, when he had more energy, when work slowed down, when his mind was clearer, when the idea felt more solid, when the fear felt smaller. 4 years passed. The notebooks gathered dust. The tabs stayed open. The dream stayed exactly where he'd left it, in the future, always in the future. Then one Tuesday evening, not a Monday, not New Year's Day, not after some dramatic event, just an ordinary Tuesday, Daniel was sitting on his couch watching another success story on YouTube, and something in him snapped. Not in anger, not in desperation, in exhaustion. He was exhausted from waiting. He closed the video. He opened a blank document, and he typed the first line of a business plan he didn't know how to finish. It was messy. It was incomplete. It wasn't the grand beginning he had always imagined. But he did it. The next morning, he woke up and did one more thing. Not because he felt motivated, not because the fear was gone. He did it because the night before, he had made a decision, and he decided to honor it. 3 months later, he had his first paying client. Not because he finally felt ready, because he finally stopped waiting to. Here's what Daniel told me later, and this is the part that matters. I wasted 4 years thinking I needed to feel it before I could do it. But the feeling didn't come until I was already moving. I had it backwards the whole time. He had it backwards. And so have most of us. Here is what no one in the highlight reel world wants to tell you. Motivation is not fuel. It is a spark. Fuel is something you fill up on and then drive. A spark flickers. It comes and goes. It shows up when you're already in motion, not before. You have been waiting at the starting line for a spark that only ignites mid-race. That's why you're still waiting. And the longer you wait, the bigger the gap grows. Not the gap between you and the task, but the gap between who you are and who you want to be. And that gap starts to feel like evidence. Evidence that maybe you're not the type of person who follows through. Evidence that maybe you don't deserve the outcome you want. But you're not broken. You're stuck in a loop. A loop that starts with waiting and ends with regret. The only way out is to interrupt it. You move before you're ready. You start before the feeling arrives. You act like the person you want to become before you feel like that person. Not fake it till you make it. Live it till you become it. Because identity isn't something you discover. It's something you build, one decision at a time. One morning where you didn't feel like it, but you got up anyway. One day where nothing felt special, but you showed up. Those days stack. And eventually, they become you. Not the version of you that needs motivation. The version that doesn't. So, how do you actually make this shift? Let me give you the truth in 4 parts. First, stop negotiating with yourself. Every morning you ask, do I feel like it? You've already lost. That question gives your mood veto power over your future. You don't ask. You decide the night before, and in the morning, you obey the decision, not the feeling. Second, shrink the action until resistance disappears. You don't need to do the whole thing. You need to start the thing. 5 minutes, 1 page, 1 rep, 1 email. The brain resists starting, not continuing. Once you begin, momentum builds on its own. Daniel didn't write a business plan. He typed 1 sentence. That was enough to break the spell. Third, understand what discipline actually is. Discipline is not a cold, military grind. It is self-respect. It is keeping promises to yourself. It is choosing the future version of you over the comfort of today. And here is the part that surprises people. Discipline doesn't feel like strength at first. It feels like loss. Loss of ease. Loss of distraction. Loss of the version of you that gets to coast. But that loss is not a sacrifice. It is a shedding. You are not giving something up. You are letting go of what is keeping you small. Fourth, stop making missed days mean something they don't. You will miss days. You will sleep in. You will choose the couch. And that is fine, as long as you don't turn one missed day into a missed identity. One day off is not evidence that you're not disciplined. It is just a day. Tomorrow, you choose again. Consistency is not about never falling. It is about always coming back, no matter how long it's been. The person you want to become is not hiding behind a better morning routine. They are not waiting for you to find the perfect system. They are not locked inside some future version of yourself that finally has everything figured out. They are hiding behind repetition, behind the small, unglamorous, completely undramatic decision to do the thing, even when it feels flat, even when no one is watching, even when there is no reward in sight. That is where transformation lives, not in the highlight reel, not in the montage moment, in the ordinary, in the undocumented, in the Tuesday afternoons and the early Wednesday mornings where nothing felt different, but you did it anyway. Those are the days that count, not the ones where you felt like a champion, the ones where you felt nothing and moved anyway. So here's the question, and I need you to sit with this, not skim past it, not save it for later. Every morning you ask, do I feel like it? You've already lost. That question gives your mood veto power over your future. You don't ask. You decide the night before. And in the morning, you obey the decision, not the feeling. So here's the question, and I need you to sit with this, not skim past it, not save it for later. Who are you when no one is watching and nothing feels easy? Are you the person who waits for the feeling? Or are you the person who moves and lets the feeling follow? Because that is the only choice that matters. It is not a big choice. It does not require perfect conditions or a perfect mindset or a perfect day. It just requires right now. You don't start from scratch. You start from here, from experience, from everything you've learned in every cycle you've lived through. And every time you come back, you are stronger. Not because you didn't fall, but because you got back up. Stop waiting for the spark. You are the spark. You just have to move first. And the fire, it will follow. But only if you go. If this hits something real inside you, share it with one man who needs to hear it right now. And if you want more content that cuts through the noise and gives you the truth without the fluff, subscribe to 1% Men. Every week we bring you the ideas, the stories, and the hard truths that forge the 1% version of you. See you in the next one.